Good Tuesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside that weather window. And boy, wasn't it a typical spring day today? A little bit of everything out there today. We did see some clouds, some rain showers. Heck, when the sun was out, it was a beautiful day today with temperatures warming into the upper 60s, even some lower 70s. But look at this beautiful shot looking down at the Wenatchee Valley from our Wenatchee Heights Sky-Fi Tower camera. That's the cross camera. And you can see still some of those low-hanging clouds with some scattered showers out there. That will continue, but as this storm moves through and high pressure begins to build in, we are going to see some windy conditions, and that will begin tonight, overnight, and boy, tomorrow is going to be a windy one. Look at some of these peak wind gusts expected for Wednesday. Wenatchee, 35 to 40 miles an hour. Down in Ellensburg, 45 to 50 miles an hour, and it does get a little bit better as you head east, but still plenty of wind around Moses Lake and the Columbia Basin, and we'll talk more about the wind and your forecast into the weekend a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. Both parents of an East Wenatchee infant are now charged with child abuse. A motorist apparently decided they knew better than the signs, warning them Knaps Hill Tunnel was closed for slope stabilization. You can see it didn't turn out well. And an East Wenatchee man who allegedly fired gunshots from his mobile home early Saturday was arrested by a special police response team. But first, we begin tonight. Eastbound lanes on Interstate 90 in Moses Lake were blocked for several hours on Monday afternoon after a head-on collision that killed two people. The Washington State Patrol reports that a Hyundai SUV being driven by 87-year-old Emmanuel Schabel of Moses Lake was traveling westbound in the eastbound lanes of I-90 when it struck head-on a Chevrolet Express cargo van being driven by 59-year-old Robert J. Miller of Auburn. Both Schabel and Miller were declared dead at the scene. The accident happened shortly after 2:30 at milepost 183 near I-90's intersection with State Route 17. There were no other occupants in either vehicle. Miller was wearing a seatbelt. Schabel was not. Well, both parents of an East Wenatchee infant are now charged with child abuse. Douglas County prosecutors brought two charges of first-degree child assault Friday against Laura Elaine McCarver for her alleged part in injuries that the baby suffered on March 29th. The child was just 5 weeks old when doctors treated him for a broken shin bone, a skull fracture, multiple broken ribs consistent with child abuse. On May 6, deputies arrested the baby's father, 35-year-old Tyler Vance Metcalf, on similar charges. Deputies say video footage from the home on Nelson Place shows McCarver, who's 30 years old, was with the child as little as 13 minutes before his injuries were reported. Both parents are being held in the Okanagan County Jail. Well, a motorist apparently decided they knew better than the signs warning them that Knaps Hill Tunnel was closed for slope stabilization. State transportation crews found this vehicle abandoned about 5:45 this morning near the tunnel on northbound Highway 97A with a large boulder stuck in its undercarriage. State Patrol Trooper John Bryant details what we know.
The scene looked like the vehicle had been in a collision because the airbags were deployed. All of those, the only damage was really towards the undercarriage of the car. As a very large rock, kind of a small boulder, was wedged underneath it, and it kind of looked like it drug it for almost a mile. 2017 Hyundai utility vehicle. Attempted through all the means we could to try and identify or find the owners, registered owners, anybody knew anything on this car. So far, nothing. Have not been able to locate anybody, so the vehicle was towed and impounded and sitting in an impound lot until we or maybe the tow company can find the registered owners. The big thing with any road closure, the state patrol closes the road or DOT puts the big signs. You know, it's a reason, and it's usually there's something that's not good or even dangerous. And you know, rocks, the way the rocks are falling there in 97 and the closure tunnel, it's dangerous. If a big rock like that goes through a windshield, I mean, we can all imagine that's going to be really bad. So to go around a road closure sign, you risk, getting, anything from a small fine up the way to a criminal. It could be criminally cited.
Bryant says the SUV is registered to owners in Costa Mesa, California. There's no sign anyone was injured in that accident. Well, an East Wenatchee man who allegedly fired gunshots from his mobile home early Saturday was arrested by a special police response team. East Wenatchee police say Pacomio Anguiano Santana fired off several rounds into the air shortly after midnight in the 1800 block of Sunset Highway. Aguiano allegedly wouldn't respond when police told him to exit his trailer, and then the tactical team forced him out using tear gas. Neighbors said it's not the first time Aguiano had fired a weapon into the air. A judge ordered him jailed on $2,500 bond. He faces possible counts of unlawful firearms possession and unlawful discharge of a weapon. Well, coming up next, deputies say a Waterville man got out of his truck and punched a fellow driver in the face and then told a witness to lie about the crime. A camp trailer was destroyed and a home was threatened after a controlled burn ignited a wildfire Monday in the Rimrock Meadows community north of Palisades. And retailer J.C. Penney announced Monday that it will close more than a quarter of its stores over the next several months. Is Wenatchee on that list? I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
Traditional values and innovation in honoring the life of each family we serve is part of the ministry of Heritage Memorial Chapel. Our staff is committed to walk with your family with compassion through this time of grief. We are here to help and here to serve, the right kind of help when you need it most. Heritage Memorial Chapel.
Aging and Adult Care offers many in-home care options and services for seniors and family caregivers. But did you know they also offer free in-home delivered meals? Aging and Adult Care has expanded its program for home-delivered meals to help elderly and vulnerable adults at this challenging time. If you are in need of prepared meals or know someone who could benefit, call Aging and Adult Care for more information about free home-delivered meals. Call 509-886-0700.
Welcome back. In another news, deputies say a Waterville man got out of his truck and punched a fellow driver in the face and then told a witness to lie about the crime. Scott Klingensmith is charged with witness tampering and fourth-degree assault. Back on February 29th, the 55-year-old Klingensmith allegedly got out of his truck while it was stopped for a light at Eastmont Avenue and Highway 2, punched a woman motorist, and drove away. Deputies spoke to witnesses who had first said they were in the truck with Klingensmith and there was no assault, but later recanted, saying Klingensmith had told them to lie. Prosecutors charged him by summons. He now must appear in Douglas County Superior Court coming up in July. Well, a camp trailer was destroyed and a home was threatened after a controlled burn ignited a wildfire Monday in the Rimrock Meadows community north of Palisades. The Rimrock Community Fire Department was able to contain the fire to about half an acre before Grant County Fire District 13 and AFREDA firefighters arrived to extinguish it. Grant County firefighters said it's yet another reminder how quickly a controlled burn can be spread by winds. Retailer J.C. Penney announced on Monday that it will be closing more than a quarter of its stores over the next several months, but a company spokesperson said Tuesday that it's too early in the process to know if the Wenatchee store will be on that list. The company filed for restructuring under Chapter 11 bankruptcy on Friday, and then on Monday said 192 of its 846 stores will close by February, and then another 50 later in 2021. The retailer has closed 173 of its stores since 2017 and has been hit especially hard during the COVID-19 pandemic, with almost all of its stores shuttered. But 41 JCPenney stores in 13 states have now fully reopened in recent days, though none yet here in Washington. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
The two hottest pickups in America are at Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. First, the Ram 1500 with back-to-back Truck of the Year awards from Motor Trend, and now the Car and Driver 10 Best list for 2020. They call it a luxury sedan with pickup capabilities. Ram is on a roll now with third-generation eco-diesel power. Next up, the Jeep Gladiator, also a 2020 10 Best model based on the new award-winning Jeep Wrangler. It has options and capabilities that no other truck can offer. Two more reasons when it comes to buying a truck: there's no reason to leave town.
Boating in the Wenatchee Valley starts at Bob File Boats and Motors. One look at the new Z series of Supreme boats and you'll know you're looking at a high-performance wake surfing boat. These boats are known as the Zeus boats because riding one is like surfing a lightning bolt, embodying the mythical trinity of surf, strength, and spirit. See the Supreme boat line at Bob File Boats and Motors on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee or online at bobfile.com.
Bob File Boats and Motors, we're dealing. Bob File's gonna make you smile.
So Pam, how's your mom doing?
She's okay. She's struggling. She'd like to stay in her house, and it's getting harder for her to do the daily chores.
What kinds of problems is she having?
Just basic house cleaning, you know, taking care of her house, yard work, taking care of her medicine.
Mm-hmm. It does sound exhausting.
It is very exhausting, and I always worry about her.
Aging and Adult Care can assist you or your loved one to remain comfortably and safely in their own home. Contact them today to start the conversation.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. The Okanagan-Wenatchee Forest Service announced a phased reopening plan today, although there are restrictions. In tonight's feature story, and here with more on that plan and those restrictions, is NCWLIFE's Kyle Montgomery.
Most trailheads and day-use areas in the Okanagan-Wenatchee Forest will reopen Friday, the Forest Service announced today. However, campgrounds won't reopen until next month. Forest Supervisor Kristen Bale said it will be part of a phased reopening of recreation sites in the forest. Citing Governor Jay Inslee's Stay Home, Stay Healthy order, most snow parks, restrooms, picnic areas, and trailheads were closed March 27th, though most of the forest itself remained open. Still, access to restrooms, garbage service, and water facilities will be limited, so visitors are being advised to bring water, know how to dispose properly of human and dog waste, and pack out all garbage. The Forest Service said campgrounds will remain closed until sometime in June so forest staff and concessionaires can prepare them for operation. Heavily used sites like Boulder Cave and day-use sites within campgrounds with no separate access will remain closed until campgrounds reopen. In addition, some trailheads remain snow-covered and will reopen later. Reporting with NCWLIFE, I'm Kyle Montgomery.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. And before we get to those details, can you believe it? Here we are coming up on Memorial Day weekend already. It's unbelievable how fast this year is going, isn't it? Even though we have been locked down for much of the spring. Here's a shot outside our weather window looking down at the beautiful Wenatchee Valley. And you can still see scattered showers around the area. That was happening all through our afternoon, and we're going to continue to see that into late afternoon and our early evening hours. But that will go down to about a 20% chance of showers later on, but beautiful dramatic shot once again provided by Skyfi, and we thank everyone for that, providing those beautiful shots. And a little bit of rain out there, as I mentioned, but a little bit of sun too, and that allowed our temperatures to climb to around 68 unofficially today in the Wenatchee area. 72 is our normal high temperature for this time of year. 53 is where we started the day, and 49 is our normal low, so it was a nice mild low temperature this morning. Record high back to that warm year of 1993. 88 degrees was our record high. Record low 34, and that was set back in 1975. We did pick up a trace of precipitation in the past 24 hours. Not much out of it though. Some spitty kind of misty rain out there. 2.24 inches. That's our total since January 1st. Sunrise this morning 5:19, and the sun will set tonight. Getting later, isn't it? At 8:37. Let's take a peek now at your Wednesday forecast. Temperatures are going to be very, very mild. In fact, a little bit warmer than today. We'll see some more clearer skies tomorrow, but tomorrow's weather, it is going to be windy, and we are talking howling winds tomorrow. We'll get to that in a second. Temperatures, though, 76 Moses Lake, mid-70s Quincy and Ephrata, more to the lower 70s as we get back to the western part of the Columbia Basin, east side of the Cascades. Entiat 73, Leavenworth 70, and Omak, your high temperature tomorrow, a very nice 75. But as I mentioned, it's going to be a windy one. We'll get to that in a second, as I mentioned as well. Partly cloudy tonight, breezy. It will come up a little bit tonight, 10 to 15 miles an hour. We'll see a few clouds around too, but we'll call it partly cloudy here for the central part of the state. Tonight, also a little bit of rain shower activity if you are traveling east into Montana. And then tomorrow, here we go with those strong winds, northwest 15 to 25, and that's not miles per gallon. It's not very good, is it? Mile per hour, gusts about 36 miles per hour tomorrow, so it'll be one of those hold on to your hat kind of days. For Thursday, partly cloudy, still breezy. We'll see a west wind 10 to 15 miles an hour on Thursday, and maybe, just maybe, an isolated shower. It will be kind of mucky around north central Washington and the Pacific Northwest, and it's going to stay like that for Friday too. Partly cloudy skies. We're still going to call for just a 20% chance for isolated showers on Friday. Both Thursday and Friday will be cool as well, but that'll all change as we get into the upcoming weekend. Mostly sunny. Saturday, folks, is going to be the nicest day of the 7-day forecast, so get outside on Saturday if you have the chance. It's going to warm up for us too into the mid-70s, even upper 70s for parts of Washington state. And then as we get into our Sunday forecast, partly cloudy and mild, maybe an isolated shower. Not much chance of that. Most of that will be relegated to the northwest part of Washington state. The rest of us, partly cloudy skies, so Sunday won't be too bad really, with temperatures once again in the 70s, and then we'll warm up even a little bit more as we get into Monday. Partly cloudy skies. We are talking 80s down in the Tri-Cities as we get into Monday, and looking past Monday, folks, I was doing that from Wednesday to Friday. It looks like we will all be in the 80s by then, maybe even upper 80s in parts of the southeast part of Washington, so we'll keep our eye on that. Let's take a look now at your Patriot Plumbing, Heating and Cooling 7-day forecast. 52 the overnight low tonight, 73 tomorrow. If it wasn't for that dang wind tomorrow would be a pretty nice day, but hold on to your hat tomorrow. Still breezy for Thursday and cooler, 65, 67 on Friday, and then things warm up just in time for the weekend. In fact, the weekend, not too bad, especially Saturday with mostly sunny skies and 73. We'll see isolated showers, a slight possibility on Sunday and Monday with partly cloudy skies, high temperatures both days into the mid-70s. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Nissan is the value leader in new cars and SUVs. Check out these new models starting at under $20,000. The all-new Versa from $17,020. The all-new Sentra from $17,400. And the all-new Kicks from $17,995. Now you can have the Nissan style, performance, and reliability, all for under $20,000.
And they're all here at Town Nissan, up behind Costco in East Wenatchee.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
With TV advertising, what we want to do is more deeply connect with the community.
People spot me in different parts around North Central, Costco and Wenatchee, say, hey, you're the pizza guy. And so they wouldn't know that if it weren't for the TV commercials we've done.
We've been here so long that people already know who we are and what we do, but to have that image flash on their television screen as opposed to just hearing it in the radio or seeing it in the newspaper. I just love the fact that we can actually put our finger on when a customer comes in and says, I saw your ad.
It's becoming increasingly difficult in this digital age to know where are your customers listening or watching, because I watch all the different channels that they watch too, like Cooking Channel, History Channel, and so it was wonderful to be able to be on there.
I would say that if you want to do business in Wenatchee, then you should connect with the people of Wenatchee, and there's no better way to do that than with NCWLIFE.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Tuesday to you, staying home and staying healthy. Eric Granstrom on the NCWLIFE channel. The USGA has announced for the first time since 1924 the U.S. Open will not have any qualifying. The tournament has already been moved from June to September at Wingfoot Golf Club in New York. John Bodenheimer is the senior managing director of the championships for the USGA. He said it was an incredibly difficult decision as open qualifying is a cornerstone of the U.S. Open. USGA often points out that typically half of the 156-man field has to go through either 36-hole qualifying or 18-hole and 36-hole qualifying. It even invested in a marketing campaign that was rolled out in February titled From Many, One, to illustrate that more than 9,000 people apply to play in the U.S. Open, eventually yielding to one winner. The USGA did not announce Monday how other players would become exempt. Among those who have yet to qualify is Phil Mickelson, a runner-up 6 times in the only major he hasn't won. Mickelson said in February he would not ask the USGA for an exemption and that if he didn't qualify or become exempt, he would not play. Well, NFL teams can begin opening their training facilities as of today if state and local governments will allow. In a memo sent to the 32 teams Friday by Commissioner Roger Goodell, he stressed that the clubs must be in compliance with any additional public health requirements in their jurisdiction and have implemented the protocols that were developed by the league to all clubs May 6th. Facilities have been closed since late March due to the coronavirus pandemic. There are limitations to the opening by the NFL. Teams have to have no more than 50% of their staff in the facility and not to exceed 75 people. No member of the coaching staff can return to the facility under the first phase of reopening, and no players may be in the facility other than if they're undergoing rehab or medical treatment. Well, Seahawks coach Pete Carroll, meanwhile, recently appeared on the NFL Network with Colleen Wolfe and Steve Mariucci to discuss the upcoming 2020 schedule.
Pete, I hope you're well, first off, but I don't know where your eyes went when you first saw the schedule. Mine went right to the end, to Rams and Niners. But what about you?
No, I went to the first game. Really, matter of fact, I went to the first preseason game. I saw Las Vegas. I thought we may have a chance to go to Vegas, but they're coming here. So we didn't win that one. But we go right to the first game. That's the one that gets it started, and that's really the one that we'll focus on. They'll come, as we get there. They'll come in time.
Well, Pete, you mentioned that first game, and when I look at your schedule, the Atlanta Falcons, well, there's a guy named Dan Quinn who we both know very well, right? I gave him his first job in the National Football League from Hofstra. That's where I got him from, all right? And he was our defensive quality control coach at the Niners. And then you had him twice as an assistant head coach in D-line, and then later as a defensive coordinator. Talk about playing against a team, yes, but a personal friend, too, that makes things a little bit more interesting with Dan Quinn.
Well, I've always liked to play against my friends, I've always found that kind of a little bit special. I like the fact that there's so much familiarity, and then we got to figure it out. I like beating my friends, too, to tell you the truth. But it's in this case, Danny and I have been together quite a bit. We've spent a lot of time together over the years, and so we share a lot. So it's going to be a really intense preparation. They know us, we know them. I like it when it's like that.
Coach Carroll was also asked about the possibility of the return of Marshawn Lynch.
Pete, I live here in the Bay Area where you grew up, and like every other night on the sports news, we're talking about Marshawn Lynch maybe returning to the Seahawks. Can you tell us, you had him for 3 games at the end there, and he's really a factor. Can you tell us about your interest in Marshawn, and is there a chance that he's playing with you again?
Well, we'll have to wait and see how that goes. He did a great job for us last year. He scored a number of times and right down the stretch. Gave us some really just good heart and soul kind of football that he has always stood for. He just did a marvelous job of jumping in and just kind of embracing the younger guys. Guys are looking at him. They've been watching him for a long time. These guys are kind of scared of the old beast. But he took great care of him. I was really, really respecting the way he jumped in with us, and we were grateful to see him get in the end zone. We just needed one more in there somewhere.
Lynch admitted earlier this month that his agent was in talks with the Seahawks about a possible return. By the way, Seattle will travel close to 30,000 miles round trip in 2020, the most of any team in the NFL. Well, Seahawks cornerback Quinton Dunbar is apologizing to Seattle fans and his teammates. Dunbar was arrested over the weekend for his alleged role in an armed robbery at a party last week in Miramar, Florida. Following his release on a $100,000 bond Sunday, he went to Instagram and said the following, quote, "I would like to thank all my fans for their support and apologize to the Seattle Seahawks organization for any unnecessary distractions that these allegations against me may have caused. In addition, I am very grateful to be part of a team that supports one another and uphold the credibility of each of its members through adverse situations. Moving forward, this entire situation has taught me how to not associate myself with environments that may mischaracterize my values and who I am," end quote. Since his arrest, Dunbar's attorney has reportedly presented sworn affidavits by witnesses exonerating his client. The Seahawks have not made any official statements regarding the incident other than to defer questions to local law enforcement in Florida. With sports news, I'm Eric Granstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. And finally tonight, for the first time in its history, the Wenatchee Youth Circus announced yesterday that the 68th season, scheduled to take place during the summer of 2020, has been canceled. The decision was made by the board of directors based on the ongoing developments, safety measures, and restrictions, of course, related to the global spread of COVID-19. Circus officials say it's a sad day for the youth performers, trainers, and volunteers who invest many hours and hard work in practicing and planning for the busy summer travel season to perform for their fans throughout the state of Washington and beyond. Wenatchee Youth Circus estimates income losses of about $60,000 due to the cancellation of this summer's performance season. Now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thank you, Grant. On Wednesday's edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, we're going to make local television history. We are going to broadcast this show using the metric system. Yep, the metric system. I am predicting on record, right here and now, the metric system is going to make a huge comeback. Join me tomorrow for a special edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. News, sports, weather, and everything you need to start your Wednesday right here, live at 7 a.m. Grant, back to you.
Just stay 6 meters away, Dan. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.
The producer of the NCWLIFE magazine. Each week, I'm bringing you a look behind the scenes of the faces, places, and events that make North Central Washington the place we call home. Tune in every weekday for an in-depth look at a new topic each week. From local artists in their studios to businesses breaking barriers that might surprise you and everything in between. Join me on the NCWLIFE magazine right here on the NCWLIFE channel.
Traditional values and innovation in honoring the life of each family we serve is part of the ministry of Heritage Memorial Chapel. Our staff is committed to walk with your family with compassion through this time of grief. We are here to help and here to serve, the right kind of help when you need it most. Heritage Memorial Chapel.
Aging and Adult Care offers many in-home care options and services for seniors and family caregivers. But did you know they also offer free in-home delivered meals? Aging and Adult Care has expanded its program for home-delivered meals to help elderly and vulnerable adults at this challenging time. If you are in need of prepared meals or know someone who could benefit, call Aging and Adult Care for more information about free home-delivered meals. Call 509-886-0700.
The two hottest pickups in America are at Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. First, the Ram 1500 with back-to-back Truck of the Year awards from Motor Trend, and now the Car and Driver 10 Best list for 2020. They call it a luxury sedan with pickup capabilities. Ram is on a roll now with third-generation EcoDiesel power. Next up, the Jeep Gladiator, also a 2020 10 Best model based on the new award-winning Jeep Wrangler. It has options and capabilities that no other truck can offer. Two more reasons when it comes to buying a truck. There's no reason to leave town.